friends, I'm Kazel, and if you're thinking of learning digital art but afraid that you're already too old for it, this video is for you. I will be sharing with you some tips and tricks I learned and some advices I wish I have heard or kept in mind when I was starting out in this digital art journey. But let me share with you my digital art timeline first, and I will also be showing you the process on how I drew this Sakura-themed digital illustration of a house. So my first exposure to digital drawing was back in university, and I think it was 2 semesters where we had a drawing class, and it was mostly about isometric drawing using AutoCAD. And after that year or so of learning the basic of AutoCAD, I have not had any digital drawing experience after until 2020 when the pandemic happened and I bought my first iPad, which is the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which is what I'm using right now. And since then, I have been learning digital illustration on my free time. And I am still learning and I have a long way to go, but I would love to share the lessons I've learned since, as they're still fresh in my mind. And I also want to encourage anyone who is on the fence to learn digital illustration or any learnable skill really, that no matter the age that you are right now, you are your youngest at the moment, so you can definitely do this. And some of you might be thinking that it is absurd to think that 20s is already too old, but I cannot deny that I am one of those people who search Google if 23 is too old to learn drawing, or if I'm still capable of learning how to draw or how to use an iPad, and if it is too hard, those kind of questions. And oftentimes I am not really looking for an answer. I just want to see a spark of inspiration from someone who have done it before and who have gone through that journey and who can guide me how to do it too. And now that I'm already past the absolute beginner phase, I also want to be that someone to somebody else. So if you are that person, I hope that this will be helpful for you. So let's start. If you're really serious about learning a new skill, the first thing you need to do is to look at your calendar and decide when you're going to study. No matter if it's only a 30-minute window or an hour each week. This time slot in your schedule will be your non-negotiable study time. When I was starting out, I have this non-negotiable time slot scheduled in the weekends, and often it is a Saturday night for an hour or two. For that 1 or 2 hour period, I will either be following a tutorial or working on my own digital drawing project where I am applying the things I have learned. The second tip that I have, which I'm so grateful that I did, is to watch tutorials and walkthroughs even if you don't have the devices and apps available to you yet. Just see and explore what is available first, especially if you will be spending a lot of money. It will be a big investment, so make sure that you are taking your time to decide. And if you already have the device and software or app available and ready to use, watch and follow tutorials. I cannot stress this enough. Don't just watch the tutorials, do them. If you need to pause every few seconds, do that, because you might think that you already know the concept or how to do it or apply it, but until you can prove that to yourself with a result like a digital drawing, you cannot say that you already grasp the concept. The result does not have to be perfect, because most likely it will not be, but the more you use the concept or that technique, the more you will discover how to apply it in your own art. And speaking of techniques or even style, at the beginning you will not have a specific style yet, and that is okay. And don't stress too much about it. It will come naturally. What you have to focus on at the beginning are the things that you enjoy and things and style you gravitate towards. If you're using social media, make sure to follow your favorite artists, watch how they work and how they draw. They might even be teaching some classes, and if you have the money, you can take those. If you don't have the budget, you can study their artwork. Just make sure that you don't post those studies online if you don't have the permission from the artist. I follow a lot of the artists I look up to in Instagram, and often I get some lessons and inspiration from the artwork they post there. And when you follow follow those amazing artists, there will come a time when you might compare yourself with them, and sometimes it will be tough. But keep in mind that they might have been doing this for years now and you are still in your beginning stages. Avoid comparing yourself with other artists. It is okay to compare your art with theirs if their style is your goal, but compare it in a healthy way. You can do this by asking yourself what that artist will do if they are going to draw a certain element in your artwork. What colors will they pick, or what technique will they use? And these questions can be answered by doing my previous tips, which is to watch and follow their tutorials and study their artworks. And I am not sure if this is just me, but when I was starting out, I was so afraid to do artwork studies of the artists I look up to and to use the techniques they share, because I had a fear that people will attack me or something. Because at that time, I was seeing people get attacked if their artwork looks like an artwork of another. And I get it if it looks like an exact copy and they did not have any permission to do so. But those times gave me a lot of anxiety. But luckily, I was also listening to a lot of podcasts and interviews of different artists and was introduced to master study. And it is where you attempt to recreate another artwork to understand the artist's decision when they were creating their art, and to also learn their thought process and their techniques. And as I have mentioned, I listen to a lot of podcasts and interviews of different artists, and those are really helpful as it is a way of peeking behind the curtain of what it looks like in the other side, and also to get to know their thought process and their experiences. And if or when you encounter the same problems as they did, it will be a little easier dealing with those problems because you already have kind of a map to follow. So I recommend listening or watching interviews of different artists. One of the podcasts I love listening to is the Draftsman podcast, hosted by Stan Prokopenko and Marshall Vandroff. And they are very entertaining and they are masters of their craft, so you will learn a lot from them. I usually listen to them during my idle times or during commute, doing the dishes, cleaning the house, and stuff like those where I don't need a lot of brain power to do. You can also find a lot of interviews here in YouTube. With all those learning and drawing and practicing that you are doing, make sure to keep track of your progress by taking pictures or saving all your artworks, even if you think they are ugly or they are not finished yet. Because if you are looking at your artwork every day, you will not really see the progress that you are making. You will only notice it after you have done a lot. And this may take weeks or months or years. And it feels so amazing to see where you started to where you are in a few months. You will really see the progress you have made, and for me, when I'm not feeling great about my current level or I am feeling unmotivated, seeing those progress really pumps me up. And speaking of feeling unmotivated, at some point in your journey, you will encounter these moments, and at times, they will be hard. Know that this happens to other artists too, and if you're feeling tired, please rest. Please rest. And if you're doing this for fun, if it's not fun anymore, maybe it's okay to test the waters first and push through a little bit, but please give yourself the opportunity to rest and recharge. And sometimes when I do this, when I do not draw for days or weeks because I'm feeling unmotivated or I feel burnt out because of my day job or life in general, after taking a break, the next time I start drawing again, it is kind of the skills and techniques I have been learning previously got marinated, and when I use them again, it becomes easier. And I'm not sure what the science behind this, but most of the time, you need to rest to improve. We need that time away so that you can process all the lessons you have been learning. And for my last advice is to not stop learning. Drawing in general, whether traditional or digital, I think is a lifetime pursuit, and there is no end goal or a finish line. It is a lifetime journey of learning and mastering and learning some more. And don't limit yourself to a single style or medium. Continue learning and continue expanding. And the very last advice is to enjoy the process. Just enjoy the process. Study, learn, and have fun. And those are the advices and tips I have in my brain right now. I hope those are helpful. And if you think of other tips and tricks or advice, please share them in the comment section below. And I'm Kazel, and see you in the next video. Bye!